Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am going to talk about how we can create a Google Cloud VPC peering. So how we'll create through Terraform, right? So let me explain one by one. So what is the prerequisite for that? I in my previous video I have already created the what is the prerequisite to set up the Terraform environment. But in this video, I'll explain the how we'll create VPC peering through Terraform, right? So the code a little bit I'll explain. This is one of the code. This code basically will create one of the VM and then name of the VM, then machine type you have to define and which region you want to create a VM. And tag basically you will use to where you will use the tag for the firewall perspective, and the boot disk for the operating system, which operating system you want to use. Then metadata startup script is after install your OS, then it will run this command like to update or you want to install something. That is the metadata startup script. The network interface, which network you want to use that particular VM, right? This is the VPC and this is the subnetwork. Which subnet you are subnet is the subset of network. Once network created, then subnet you have to create. Recite subnet, the machine will be creating inside the subnetwork, aligning with IP address, right? Then in Terraform, like output, if you want to show the output name of the instance and the test server Linux network, what network it is and which subnetwork it is, right? The private network is the internal IP and external IP and the server. So three things I want to show in the output format. So this is the output format, which we can see the name, public IP, private IP. Now, as you know that provider is important. So in the provider section, what you'll do? So in Terraform version, you have to define and then provider. Who is provider? Google is provider because we are going to set up the environment in Google environment. So once your provider mention, then what you'll do? I'll define your project name, which project you are going to create, which region. If you know about region and zone in Google Cloud, you can check my YouTube video to what is region and zone. Then you have to specify the zone, which zone, right? Then move on to next page, next code like public test server. This is my public compute instance along with the public IP address, right? So same format, you have to put the name of the server, what's the machine type, which zone you are going to create, allow the tag, boot disk, what whether you are using Linux or Windows, you mention over here. Then metadata to update the operating system, maybe some other you can mention. Network interface part is to define your network and VPC and subnetwork. Then if you want to show the output of the machine and public IP and all these things, this is it. Then we move on to Terraform TFR file. This is the global variable file. So what is the IP range you required and what are the project ID, zone, region you can define over here, so that you can call in your code. Where you are going to use that will be automatically it will take. So variable where you have defined the variable, but this is the just create the template, but we are not passing the value over here. So passing the value from the Terraform TFRs, like project ID. So we have to put the project ID here, right? So what is the project ID for me here? So let me put the project ID. This is my project ID. Let me put here project ID. Project ID, I put project ID. Then firewall rule. This is the Terraform code. So first the resource type and resource name. Resource type is Google Compute Firewall, and resource name private allow SSH. Whatever you can put. So we're creating for SSH, so that's why mention SSH. The name, what name you want to put, you just define. Then network, you define which network. In firewall rule you have to define the network, which network you want to allow and deny. So this private VPC you just allow the protocol TCP and the port number 22. Source range of the slider range you will define, and the target tag we can define. Then the allow RDP only for the public subnet. Same name of the firewall rule, network you define, allow TCP, port number 3389 for RDP. Source range you will pick up here through the variable which we have mentioned in the global variable file, and then define tag. And then another firewall rule which I can create for the private allow ping, name of the firewall, network you have to define network, then allow protocol ICMP to check your ping, source range, the IP range you will define the firewall. Then this is the private firewall rule. The public firewall rule, same similarly you will define, right? The only difference is the source range you will define 0000/0. I mean allow for all. But in private firewall rule, you have to mention the IP range, source range. You have to mention that will be pick up from your here only, right? CIDR, public and private. So this is the firewall rule which I explained. Now move on to the network. So the private VPC, so the terraform, the format like resource type, resource name of the VPC define, and then auto create subnetwork, it false. We don't want to create auto subnetwork. Routing mode is global. Create the private subnet, then name of the private subnet, then CIDR range. So just variable format, just call that variable from the global CIDR private. And network, the private VPC name, and region, which region you want to create, right? The create private subnet. This is the subnetwork part, and this is the network part, right? So now move on to the next one, like the this is the public VPC, name of the VPC you define here, then auto create subnet false also, routing mode global, then resource type. This is for subnetwork. The subnetwork how will create resource name subnetwork, Google Compute subnetwork, and the name, whatever name you can put over here. The name of the public subnet, CIDR range will mention that network, the public VPC name, and region, which region you are going to create, right? So that is all about the code I explained. Now once code is ready, then what we'll do, we'll type the terraform init to initialize the plugin, download all these things. Provider plugin will download, and the Hasikup plugins and the Google dependency, all these things will be download with the help of terraform init command. Then we will check the what are the resource you are going to provision in Google Cloud. So we'll just check with terraform plan. So plan will see the what you are going to create. So 13 resource you are going to create: 0 to change, 0 to destroy. I mean, what all are you are going to create? You see private test server Linux, private test server Linux, internal IP Linux, external IP, internal IP, test server. All these are things you are going to create. I mean, total 13, but display couple of things because so 13 resource you are going to create in Google Cloud environment. So now Terraform apply, just will apply Terraform apply, then the resource will create, right? So let me hit the Terraform apply. So it will ask me to will be accepting to approve. Yes, we want to create. So now creation started, right? So then once created we'll check details, but quickly it will create. Like as you can see, all Google Compute private VPC creating the private VPC creating, firewall rule is creating, and sub network is creating. You can see. Once all created, we'll check whether it is created or not, but definitely it is creating, as I can see here. So quickly just verify as well. So click on VPC network. So here simultaneously we'll check the whether it is creating or not. You can see private VPC, public VPC created, then firewall rule will check. Okay. Got it. Now we can dismiss this one. Then you can check here. My public VPC allow RDP, public VPC allow SSH, public VPC allow ping, public VPC allow SSH, public private VPC allow RDP, private VPC allow ping, all created, right? So now you can see all created, 13 resource created completely. But just to complete the check, we'll check the firewall rules and the network. Now we are going to check the compute engine. So the compute engine also created private test server Linux, public test server Linux, both VM is created, right? So now what we are going to do? Now the environment is created. Now let's go to setup for the VPC peering setup, right? So what we'll do, we'll go to the directory, uh, terraform create peering. So this is the code, and terraform create peering. So now I'll check the all what all our file is here. This is the this file, all file. Let me close one. So okay, PC peering, this is the code. So the resource Google Compute Network Peering, the Terraform resource type is Google Compute Network Peering, and then public private, and the name is peering, and the network is a public VPC link, and peer network is the private VPC. I mean, one network peering is aligned with the two VPC. So two VPC which we have created. Let me show you that. Two VPC we have created. That two VPC we just created. two VPC, we are going to create the VPC peering in between two VPC, right? So that's why this is the code, like first the terraform resource type is Google Compute Network Peering, and the public private is the name, right? And then name of the this is the peering one, the one VPC to other VPC peer network is private VPC, and then that other one is the in the reverse way, the same resource type and resource name. This is the private and public. The name should be defined the peering to, and network should be the so earlier the above one was the public VPC, it should be the private VPC, then that peering with the public VPC, that in the reverse way it would be, right? So now the code is set, right? Then we'll just apply uh, terraform apply terraform apply. The last two will be accepted to approve. Yes, I want to approve. And you can see what you are going to create. That display is also, you can see this is the two VPC peering is going to create. So that will create my two VPC. So once created, I'll show you the VPC peering. uh, So just click on network VPC peering. As you can see, this is already created, peering 1, peering 2, and this is 2 VPC already peer and status is active. Now you can see 2 VPC peering is created. So quickly let me open that how the configuration is. As you can see, this is the VPC network public VPC, and then peer with the private VPC, right? And then the IP address which we have mentioned, this is accepted. So two VPC which you can connect with through the VPC peering, and then VPC peering 2, and this is the private VPC is connected with the. So here what we can do, this is the access config. The access config, if the access config, then it will provide the public IP. If I'll comment out here, then public IP will not display over here. See, this is the public IP, it will not display. If I'll comment access config, then the public IP will not display. Okay, so I want to see the output as well. This is the output, private test server Linux, external IP value none. Okay, so let me quickly check. Terraform apply. So this one just I want to comment out. So how to comment in Terraform, let me tell you. This is the comment, multi-line comment. You can comment like this star, and yeah, the multi comment. So this error will now resolve. Terraform apply, then yes to continue, and then reflection will check here. This will remove external IP. Once done, I'll refresh, then refresh the page and I'll check. Yeah, now let me refresh the web page. You can see external IP gone. The test server Linux internal IP is this, and the test server Linux external IP is this. But and this private test server, this is the external IP. Okay, here is my server. So let me ping. You can see I can able to ping the server, right? So it is communicated between two VM, two VPC VM. So the difference is, let me explain, like this VM is in different VPC, this VM is in different VPC. So let me select the network here. Okay. You can see this is the private VPC and this is the public VPC, right? So in the private VPC, I just remove the public IP, and this is my private VM and this is public VM. Then how will communicate with two VM? So two VM communicate with each other. So the private VM which you cannot access, only we can access to the public VM, then we'll test it. And this copy of the private VPC VM, this is the internal network VM inside the Google network, but through public network we can able to access in this particular VM. Then we'll try to whether, because it is a different VPC network, whether you can able to ping or not, because VPC peering is established, so we can able to ping. So let me quickly check that. Yes, now we log into the test server Linux VM public VM. So I want to ping the private VM. Yes, now we can you can see we can able to connect with the private VPC as well. So why it is possible? Because we created the VPC peering, that's why it is possible, otherwise it will not possible. If I'll you can see, if I'll destroy the VPC peering or delete the VPC peering, so we are not able to connect with the this VM to from this VM to this VM. We cannot create, because this is the totally different VPC network VM, right? And which we can able to create through VPC peering. Let me show you that VPC, through VPC peering you can see the two different network through the VPC peering. We can able to communicate with the two VM. This was the purpose to create this video. Like if the different VPC, different VM with the private IP, how we can able to connect through VPC peering, you can able to create. So this video will be helpful how you can create the VPC peering with the different VPC network, how you can communicate with the two different VPC VM, and VPC peering will help you to communicate with the two different VPC at the separate VM, right? So I hope this video will be helpful in a practical way, because if you are looking for this solution, then how will do that? So this explanation will be helpful if will if you'll watch the throughout the video from the beginning, so it will be very much helpful. I will create now VPC peering, and also explain like the steps, like how the things can be done, and explain the code as well, also how will write the code for that VPC peering. And for VPC peering, how the environment I created to provide one demo, so that will be really helpful for your requirement, right? So stay tuned to get this kind of video. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye bye. And don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel to get this kind of video. Thank you.